Now, who can remember back about 10 days, back to around November 4th and 5th, when all the election results were coming in across the country? Remember what happened? The Republicans got trounced. They got demolished. They got demolished. Now, Yabitz, one of my most loyal viewers ever, Yabitz, sorry, I know you disagree with this, and I know they won in blue states, but the point is they won by far higher margins this year than they did last year against Trump. And that led to Trump making a huge mistake because he did what he always did. He said, "It's not my fault. I didn't have anything to do with it." He said, "I wasn't even on the ballot. Can't blame me. If I'd been on the ballot, you guys would have won. You would have done better." But guess what? That was such a stupid thing to say because that got the Republicans to thinking. And as always, they actually believed him. But this time they believed him for good reason. And they started thinking to themselves, wait a minute. If we lost because he's not on the ballot and we can't win if he's not on the ballot, but he's never going to be on the ballot again, now what are we going to do? You see the corner they worked themselves into? It's all coming back. Look, this is how cults crack. They start with a little thing. This started with Jeffrey Epstein back in the summer when a reporter asked Trump, something about Jeffrey Epstein, and Trump lashed out, "Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Aren't you guys tired of that? That guy's so slimy." I mean, he has mishandled this from start to finish. And his base has seen it. A lot of people in his base were told for years before he started his second term that there were files and there were big, powerful, rich people, mostly Democrats, who were trying to destroy the nation in these files. And we got to open the files. And if you elect us, we will open the files. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Donald Trump, what's his name? What's the vice president's name? Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, JD Vance, right? All of them, all the time in the media for like 5, 6 years while Trump was out of office. Okay, he wasn't out of office 5 or 6 years, but during all that time, they were in the media constantly saying, we got to, you know, release these files. And now they're in power and they're not releasing them. All right. So here's what happened. The Republicans will be running again, especially the House members, all will be running again next year in November for their House seats. And they started thinking, hey, okay, Trump's not going to be on the ballot, so he's not going to have those coattails that bring a lot of people out. And I might have a primary opponent. What happens when the primary opponent says, hey, why did you vote to withhold the Epstein files? Why didn't you want them released? It's going to be a hard question to answer when Trump's not on the ballot, right? Oh, and what if you don't have a primary opponent, but you have a Democrat opponent running against you in the general election? And he's going to say the same thing. You didn't want those files released. What are you trying to hide, Congressman? They know that's not going to look good at all. So they are thinking, we got to release these files. So they held the thing yesterday when they swore in the new congresswoman from Arizona. Sorry, I forget her name. Anyway, she signed the discharge petition, and that was enough signatures to force it onto the House floor, a vote on the Epstein files being released. And now that's going to happen at some point, whenever Mike Johnson can't put it off another day. But that's going to happen. And here's the amazing thing: four Republicans came out publicly to sign that discharge petition. Okay? That had never happened. That's not happened since Trump became president in 2017. That has not happened, that Republicans have come out in public and stood against him. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene says she doesn't understand why Trump's not releasing the files. Okay, so that makes sense. I think she does understand, but she doesn't want to say why. I think we all understand why he's not releasing the files. But this whole Trump cult thing, when it comes to the top Republican leaders, most of them know good and well that he's terrible and they don't like him. I don't think most of them even like him, but they've hung on to him for one reason and one reason only, not because they like him, not because they believe in whatever he's pushing. not because they love our country. They're doing it because they love themselves. And they're doing it because they think only he can bring them electoral success. And in that, I have to say they are correct. And as they slowly come to realize that he's never going to be on the ballot again, and that's not going to happen, they're not going to get that surge in MAGA voters coming to the polls because he won't be on the ballot. And JD Vance, oh my gosh, don't be scared of him. You really think he's going to bring crowds to the to the polls like Trump did? No way, not going to happen. But they know he will never be on the ballot again. So they're starting to distance themselves from him publicly, which is significant that it's public. And it's something we haven't seen during his entire reign since, 2017. So this is the momentum of the crack up. It started back in the summer when that reporter first asked Trump about Jeffrey Epstein. But, now we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace, Thomas Massey, 4 people who signed that petition yesterday. And now even more Republicans in the House have come out and said they'll vote to pass or to pass this bill to release the files. More and more, you're going to see this as they're going to pour out against him publicly. And they'll go back next year and there'll be other issues that they'll fully support him on. But you can expect to see Republican cult-like worship of Trump loosening. I think we're going to see more and more votes that don't quite go his way. I think we're going to see them separate themselves from him more and more. And the more they do that, the better it is for America. God bless America. And let's pray that happens. All right. And one more thing, by the way, um, to you Christians who still support this president through thick and thin, no matter what, don't be stupid. Don't be naively stupid. Um, he is guilty of some bad stuff. And that's why he is doing everything in his power to keep these files from coming out. Why else? Why else? He ran on I mean, one of his promises was he would release these files. That was a big promise of the whole Republican Party. Everybody wanted the files released because they thought it would doom Democrats. Well, now they're finding out, oh no, actually it dooms our side. Let's hold on to him then. Let's not let him out. Now people are jumping over to protect Trump on this. Megyn Kelly, I got to do an episode on her. She has come out and said some really disgusting things recently about how, pedophilia is not that bad if the girls are in their teens. It's not like real pedophilia. Seriously, come on. So this is the kind of thing it's going to lead you to. You're a Christian. This is going to lead you to more and more compromise, which will open your heart to more and more sin. And this is not good. Christians have to stand for truth. Okay. We have these emails saying Trump was all over the place. We know he was all over the place. He and Jeffrey were best friends for 15 years. Of course, he knew what was going on. And of course, he doesn't want these files released because they're incriminating to him. Wake up, smell the coffee, and do the right thing. All right? Do the right thing. Put God first and principles first and his truth first and do the right thing. All right? Got that off my chest. I appreciate you listening, and I will see you next time.